Something odd is going on with Trump's new Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson. Now, according to a new report from the Washington Post, Tillerson is a bit removed from his staff and his department. So he's kind of hiding out. That's odd. So let's read some of the report from the Post. Now, 8 weeks into his tenure as President Trump's top diplomat at the State Department, the former ExxonMobil chief executive is isolated, walled off from the State Department's core of bureaucrats in Washington and around the world. Very strange. Now, his distant management style has created a growing bewilderment among foreign officials who are struggling to understand where the United States stands on key issues. It has sown mistrust among career employees at State who swap paranoid stories about Tillerson that often turn out to be untrue. And it threatens to undermine the power and reach of the State Department, which has been targeted for a 30% funding cut under Donald Trump's hard power budget. Hard power! So, look, that's unusual. For the, Secretary of State, the State Department, to not talk to anybody, to not really communicate with staff, well, who's he talking to then? Well, most of his interactions are with an insular circle of political aides who are new to the State Department. Many career diplomats say they have still not met him, and some have been instructed not to speak to him directly or even make eye contact. Eye contact. No. See, the Secretary of State, don't talk to him. Don't even look at him. Whoa. This is dysfunctional. This is, I keep bringing up this word, unsustainable, the things that are happening in this administration. Just the weirdness. And this is a good example of the weirdness. It's also a good example of a prick. No, Mr. Tillerson doesn't want you looking at him. But he's supposed to be my boss. We're supposed to be talking to each other. We're supposed to be conducting the business of the state at the State Department. What is this? What the hell is this? Okay? Now, also, according to the report, he seems to be traveling very, very light. Now, as an oil executive, according to aides, Tillerson traveled the world negotiating deals behind closed doors with a very small entourage, with just 1 or 2 aides accompanying him. Tillerson's current aide said the secretary thinks that this model, quote, served him well. But see, Tillerson, this isn't ExxonMobil. You're in government now. You need to talk to people outside your little bubble. Okay? You're not a businessman anymore. You work for us, in case you forgot. You work for our State Department. You are funded by our money. What are you doing hiding? We kind of deserve to know what our Secretary of State is doing on our behalf. But see, here's the issue. He's not interested in doing any of that. No. What Rex Tillerson is interested in doing is anything that serves the interests of ExxonMobil and other oil companies. And if that means running the State Department into the ground and then turning it into nothing more than a way just to sell fracking and oil to the rest of the world, well, that suits him just fine. Because, again, that's exactly what he's there for. That's his only reason. In fact, according to the report, Tillerson has decided to keep a low profile since the inauguration, has made very few remarks to the press, and has opted not to travel with a press pool. Now, earlier this month, Tillerson also stood by this decision to not allow reporters to travel with him on his trip to Asia, calling himself not a big media press access person. Well, again, you're in government. You're supposed to have access. We are supposed to have access to you to know what you're doing. So he doesn't talk to reporters. He doesn't talk to his staffers. Okay, he doesn't even let some of them look him in the eye. But he only talks to his political advisors. In fact, current and recently departed State Department officials, all whom spoke on the condition of anonymity, told the Washington Post that Tillerson's political advisors have little foreign policy experience and little pull at the White House. Now, obvious, of course, this is because that department is scheduled to go away. It's got no pull at the White House. But the fact that they have no foreign policy experience, ridiculous. How are you supposed to run an effective State Department if you're not actually listening to people that have experience? This is ridiculous. Now, not only that, but some of these State Department officials said, quote, their dealings with the department staff have sometimes been testy and unpleasant. Part of it is a deep distrust of bureaucracy, said a senior Democratic aide. It sets a command climate that makes people cautious and paranoid. These folks in their political commissar roles take that to the extreme. Everything we have heard is about how small the aperture is for information coming in and going out of the secretary's office. That is not a recipe for success. Look, success at what? They don't want to succeed. See, the whole point of most of Trump's appointees is to break their respective departments, to dismantle them and sell them off. In this case, of course, of the State Department, I could see it being converted into a way just to sell oil to other countries. Not American oil, but ExxonMobil's oil. Remember, we don't own the oil anymore, right? It's not American energy. It's not domestic energy. Sure, it comes out of American soil, but guess who owns it? ExxonMobil or the other oil companies. And you know what they do? They sell it on the open market. These are multinational corporations that own this resource now. Not us. It's not our energy. No, we got to buy it from them because they get it out of the ground. And I also believe, again, it's to make deals with places like, let me give you an example, Russia. Russia is a big petro state. So, of course, they want to do an oil deal with the biggest producer of oil, okay? And the Obama administration sanctions kind of got in the way of that. But I'm pretty sure that Rex Tillerson, in his position, is probably going to try to do something to be able to make that sure that oil deal goes through, because that means a lot of money for ExxonMobil. And that's why he's not interested in making eye contact with people. Because look, to him, I believe they're all expendable. He didn't come to run the State Department. He came to gut it. And when you realize that, his actions will start to make a little bit more sense. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.